Welcome to another edition of Business Today, where we discuss in depth the business world and its dealings. As always, we've got an interesting show for you. Today, we are going to be talking about a little bit of a topic that is of concern in the modern era: coexistence with businesses and the planet and the people around it. This is about sustainability. To talk about this, we have brought on the Director General of the Sustainable Development Council of Sri Lanka to our studio. We'll learn a little bit about her before we have a chat.
Mrs. Chamindri Saparamadhu is the Director General of the Sustainable Development Council of Sri Lanka. She counts over 10 years of experience with the United Nations system and most recently served as a technical advisor to the UNDP Sri Lanka on right to information and as the head of the UN Resident Coordinator's Office in Sri Lanka. She has served at the Working Group on Sustainable Development Goals appointed by the Ministry of Foreign Relations, the panel of experts to the Constitutional Assembly of Sri Lanka, the Governing Council of the Youth Corps in Sri Lanka, and as a legal consultant to the Parliamentary Select Committee on Electoral Reforms. Mrs. Saparamadhu is a lawyer and a well-experienced professional in the development sector with over 15 years of work experience in management, program development, and in providing research and policy advisory services to a multitude of international and local organizations on governance and sustainable development issues.
And Mrs. Chamindri Saparamadhu is in the studio with us. Welcome to the show. Great to have you on.
Thank you, Win. Thank you for having me.
Now, of course, like I said, this sustainability, when you talk about a sustainable business, it can be a business that can exist, it can be a business that can be profitable. What type of sustainability does the Sustainable Development Council concern itself with?
Well, actually, when we talk about business engagement on sustainability, we are not just focusing on the financial performance of businesses, but we look a little beyond, and then we look at the business engagement on two other aspects, the social and the environmental aspects. So this to actually to talk about the relevance of this and why the business engagement on sustainability is important, let's look at like the 100 largest economies in the world, right? Of the 100 largest economies, 51 are businesses, which means that the businesses have grown exponentially in the last couple of years. And then, so for example, Sony is bigger than Pakistan, the economy of Pakistan. IBM is bigger than the economy of Singapore. So which means you can just imagine the impact that businesses have on society and the environment. So business sustainability is about accounting not just for their financial performance, but also the social and environmental performance. So that businesses do look at the environmental impact and the impact that they have on the society, the wider community and the society. So the businesses actually, this also again, this discussion on sustainability goes back a long way. We've had the Brundtland Commission starting from the world, the Rio de Janeiro conference, and then the development, the formulation of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, where the world started to talk about the environment, because the current growth models, you know, there has been growth, but also have created a lot of social inequalities, but also have had a huge impact on our environment, because the growth has to happen within a resource limited world. So people started to talk about increasing productivity, increasing also production, because the population growth, you know, population keeps growing, the demands of people keep growing, but also all of that has to happen in a world where the resources are finite. The resources are not infinite. So there's a lot of discussion about being more environmentally sustainable. And although this discussion started in the domain of the development sector, where the policymakers, the governments, the civil society, and also the research and academia started to talk about sustainability issues, in the run-up to the United Nations Sustainable Development Agenda, when it was being formulated, increasingly the business sector was also being involved in the discussions.
So, talking about the business sector, how do you actually identify a sustainable business? What are the strategies and practices implemented by a sustainable business that's different from a conventional one?
Well, actually, the conventional ones, in the sense, this is about not doing business as usual, but moving a little bit away from it, and then looking at doing business differently. So it is about whether the businesses do look at, their environmental impact, their impact on the society. So, for example, the businesses nowadays, in the modern context, do actually focus on having an environmental management system. It can be an informal system that they develop locally in-house, but also, or else they could actually look at a more formal process and have an environment policy, and then and also look at some kind of certification like ISO certification and so on. So it's about actually looking at doing an initial review and taking stock of your business process, your business activities, to see like what are the impacts, what are the environmental aspects of your business. Because if you look at any activity, any service or a product, all of that actually have an interaction with the environment. You can take a very simple example like printing, right? Now, printing means that you also have to consume resources, electricity, energy, and then there's also emissions to the air. So then again, you generate waste that goes into landfill, right? Waste into landfill. So you take a stock of the aspects, environmental aspects of your business, and then also make an assessment of what are the impacts, right? So whatever the impact that will have, likely whether it is positive or negative, direct or indirect, you make an assessment of the environmental impacts. And then you actually in a business you look at some of those things and look at the ways in which you can minimize your environmental impacts if those are negative. And then again, looking at the social aspect, it's about a company having a better policies, HR policies, labor practices, and then of course going beyond that, looking at also the company's impact on the community and the larger society. So to give you an example, if for example if the HR policies or does not encourage equal remuneration policies are not based on, like if there's a huge discrepancy between,
no gender pay gap or nothing
exactly,
like that.
and then between let's say the senior management and the middle management and the other levels of employees, and if there's a huge inequality gap between the remuneration scales, and if the company does not actually invest in sort of building capacity of staff to and strengthening their capacities further, if the working environments is not that conducive, you cannot talk about, a business can talk about just generating employment but not quality jobs. So in the long term, in the long run, that will also not attract competent people to the organization. So it's about actually being conscious of all of that, and then making a conscious effort to improve on those aspects as well.
And talking about the businesses themselves, now what are the benefits you see in the real world for businesses who adopt these practices?
Well, actually, I think in the short term, like if you look at your environmental aspects, and if you look at energy, managing your energy consumption and usage, that will also have huge cost savings for the business. And then again, on the waste, how you manage your waste, because if you can minimize your waste, again there will be a cost saving for the business. So those are some of the immediate benefits.
So making a system efficient.
Yes, efficient and also more cost effective. But also in the medium term, you know, now we live in a world where people have access to information. So the corporate image is very important. And there is a, you know, when you have a better, improved corporate image, it will attract more investors, and also you will build the confidence and the trust of your consumers, your customers, and then also the company will be able to attract better staff, more competent staff, because everybody, you know, professional staff would like to be associated with companies that have a better reputation. So then again, also another aspect is actually, so you can then access various markets, right? So with if you have a better corporate image. And globally also, it depends on what the nature of your business. If you are engaged in a business that has to interact with the global markets, now increasingly there's international pressure for companies to be more sustainable. Look at you know, the greening sort of certification and all of that, particularly some of the European markets. So whether you actually want to, whether you know, it'll improve your market access. And then another area is also another benefit is about, it's a bit more long term. It's about the business resilience, because businesses that take stock of all this, you know, about how your business, you know, the processes and the environmental aspects, impacts, will also plan better so that they can meet any eventuality. Because one thing about sustainability, you know, one of the things that you have to know, it's actually not just what you do that has an impact on the environment, but also knowing that you live in a world where there are constraints on resources. You are also aware of what are the potential threats that are out there, because we see that the weather patterns are changing, and then climate action, right? So you, if you have a environmental management strategy, you are also aware of and you plan better, so then you can respond to those eventualities. Now, see, if you take an example, if there's flooding, right, it could actually disrupt your distribution channels. It could also have a you know, sometimes might prevent the staff from traveling to work, and then, you know, your whole production process can get disrupted. Then also now, for example, the COVID-19, people were not prepared for this, right? It happened all of a sudden, but it actually forced certain businesses to work differently and go into more sort of, you know, online systems, you know, digital platforms. So if the businesses were prepared to meet those eventualities, I think there would have been so much cost saving. Of course, the COVID-19 was not you know, sort of planned or not anticipated, was not expected. Came at a time when people were least expecting it. But I think if the businesses had a strategy of, you know, facing this kind of, because increasingly these kind of threats are, you know, going to be more and more in the future.
Plus, having a conscience, ease of conscience is also usable, and of course of ease to the business management, right?
Yes.
And also, now you talked about having the corporate image, trustworthy image. If you can actually convey to the business public, like you said, we are doing a lot of international business, having that type of stamp that is internationally recognizable can be of use to a lot of businesses and will ease their transactions, right? So what type of stamps and certifications are available for businesses that can actually make that process easier, and what are the ones that the government is providing, that you know?
Well, actually you have this ISO certification and all that, and then of course you have sustainable reporting, because now a lot of the companies in Sri Lanka do that. I mean, because we have done a mapping, you know, our council has done a mapping of the sustainability engagement of various companies in about 10 different sectors. And we've seen that at least the bigger companies do their sustainability reporting.
And with that, we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back with more information, and more talk. Welcome back to Business Today. We were talking about sustainable businesses, and we talked a little bit about the corporate images and how then they can be improved by types of certifications like ISO certification. Now, talking about the Sustainable Business Development Council. Now, you joined it pretty recently. What actually interested you in this particular area, first of all?
Well, actually, it's called Sustainable Development Council. It's a government entity that is now constituted within the finance ministry. Although I'm a lawyer by profession, I have worked in the development sector, and as your introduction elaborated in detail, I've worked in the development sector, and most of my work has been with the United Nations system. And I worked in different areas, from democratic governance to human rights to gender, peace building, state building, and so on. So my education, postgraduate education, has also been in development. I'm currently also doing my PhD in development studies. So actually, Sustainable Development Agenda was the global development agenda that was adopted by all at least 193 member states of the United Nations in 2015. And I was the head of the UN Resident Coordinator's Office back then, and then I was coordinating on behalf of the UN system, working with government agencies. And then I had a background, also in these areas. And then I also now wanted to take, play a different role, and then work with the government and try to also make, my contribution and help the system within the government to implement the agenda, because Sri Lanka is a signatory to the Sustainable Development Agenda. And so try to bring in, my contribution to this process.
And now, talking about coming into this Sustainable Development Council, what type of relationship do you hope to have with the corporate sector in Sri Lanka, and what is the long-term plan for the council itself?
Well, that's a good question, because currently, and I've been just 3 months in office, we have focused mainly, our work is with government, because as the main mandated agency to coordinate and facilitate Sri Lanka's achievement of sustainable development goals, we have to work with different stakeholders. So right now, our primary engagement is with government agencies, ministries, and various government institutions. But in going forward, corporate sector is one of the stakeholders that we want to engage with. So for example, we want to go into a discussion and then improve their sustainability reporting. Because if you look at the Sustainable Development Goals agenda, one of the main targets, under one of the goals is promoting responsible consumption and production. And one of the targets, indicators to measure progress on this, is the number of companies publishing sustainability reports by level of requirements, company size and sector. So the higher the number of companies that report on sustainability is one of the ways in which indicators that will show that companies in Sri Lanka are actually engaging on sustainability issues. So there are actually currently the Ministry of Environment has what is called a National Green Reporting System, and so up to now only about 25 reports have been submitted by companies in Sri Lanka, but we want to improve this sustainability reporting. Colombo Stock Exchange has issued recommendations to their listed companies on sustainability reporting, because they have 100-odd companies listed. And then with the annual capital market communications, annual reporting, they do have sustainability reporting.
I think these are some of the things that are ongoing. I think I'm not alone in wishing you best of luck in this type of sustainable development in Sri Lanka. I think this is going to be very helpful to the Sri Lankan business community and the community at large as well. That was Mrs. Chamindri Satparamadu with us. We were in conversation about sustainable business development, and she is the Director General of the Sustainable Development Council of Sri Lanka. With that, we wind up today's edition of Business Today. Thank you for joining us. Do join us next time. Till then, good night.